I think the main thing is that over the next few years, a few things will happen. One is that I think there will be a successful stable currency. The main project kind of in the space right now is called Maker, and they're working on the one where I mentioned that it's collateralized with a few extra assets, and then it's topped up as needed. And that's really important because you don't want to have the volatility of a currency like Ether when you're trading on something like Augur. You don't want to be right about, say, the price of Apple, but lose money because Ether collapsed 30% overnight. So that's one big piece. There's also projects like IPFS and Filecoin, which are working on decentralized file systems. So that's important for if you're making a decentralized application, you have all this user data. It's pretty expensive to store it on Ethereum, but if you can store it on their system, it's a lot cheaper. And then the final kind of piece is I think this stuff will actually start to scale. Yeah, and so it's not infeasible at all to me that we'll see something like Ethereum doing 50 to 100,000 transactions per second in a few years, which is about very similar on par with what all of the exchanges on Wall Street do per day. And so when you combine all of those things, you get a platform that's actually like more feasible and ready to be built on. It's like the World Wide Web if you advanced past dial-up and got to DSL or cable. And so I think once we reach that point, projects like prediction markets will start to take off because they actually are 10x better than the existing system once you have that scale.
So this is going to be one of these situations, again, very much like the World Wide Web, where initially everybody gets on, or a lot of people get on, they become very excited, and then they realize that they're sitting there waiting very slowly for the high-resolution images from all these fantastic sites to be downloaded, right? Google wins because it has a very simple interface. It doesn't take any time to load, but ultimately wins because of the virtue of the algorithm and the strength of the search capability relative to, the display ads that you might have seen from a category search like a Yahoo. Is that
right?
So ultimately, the application is what becomes important is once the restrictions on bandwidth are removed.
Yeah, basically it's currently like dial-up, and so when the average consumer goes to something like Ethereum and wants to see what it's all about, you see a lot of people kind of make fun of it or think of it as a toy, and that's kind of like what the internet was in the very early years. But over the course of the next few years, as this stuff matures and scales, it actually gets really powerful.